Welcome back, everybody. Before we get into actually showing you how to lay some type and some graphics in there, I thought this would be a good time for me to talk about the Trifold brochure and why it's such a unique layout. And why I say unique is because the way that you actually look and read it is unlike any other piece that you will make out there. Okay? So let me explain what I'm talking about. In the previous video, as you can see, we have 3 panels on one side of the page and 3 panels on the back. Now, the panels are sometimes read together or they're separate. And that's why I'm saying that this layout is so unique. For example, okay, the cover itself, when it's all folded up, stands by itself. You can't see anything other than the cover. Same thing with the back. The back cover, if you were to flip the thing over, the back cover would stand by itself as well. There's nothing else there except the back cover because it's all folded up. The inside flap, on the other hand, is something that you would see as you open up the brochure. And on the inside, once it's completely open, your presentation is not a single panel, not 2 panels, it's all 3 panels, all in one view. That's what makes this brochure, a Trifold brochure, so unique. Because you have to give consideration on how you build this layout, design-wise. So what I've done is I've went ahead and made a mock-up for these panels and where it folds at. And I would also recommend that if you have your own folding machine, or if you're having this folded by someone else, to give you some samples of how that machine folds so you can adjust your template to that folder. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So what I've done is I went ahead and made a mock-up, and here's a printed version of the front page, and then I'll show you a printout of the back page. Now you can see here I've labeled them all out, and I put some lines on it as well. And these lines here represent the fold, right on the fold. Now, a couple of you will probably realize that, hey, this number is a little different. Okay, the number itself, this number particularly goes out to 4 places, and after consideration, you can, if you want to, take it out to 4 places, but I've ended up rounding it up, looking at other websites and everything. They just rounded it up to 8, so it's 3.688. But if you want to go to that and take it 4 places out, that's up to you. All right. So I went ahead and labeled my panels, okay, and put some measurements. And this was here just to show that when these are added together, it comes out with that. All right. Same thing with the flip side. This is the inside of the brochure. And I went ahead and just labeled these with the numbers. Of course, notes to myself. And here are the 3 panels. I put lines over here too. This is actually the one piece of paper that I made as a mock-up. Pushed it through, folded it, and as you can tell, what I have printed and what came out was actually surprisingly dead nut. Okay, it was right on the money. So I've used this to actually try to put together a mock-up. And the mock-up was for a school. So what I did was, we were proposing to do these brochures for them. And they wanted to see an example of that. So what I did was I went to their website and I actually grabbed a bunch of stuff off their website just to be able to put something together. So when we're designing it, you just got to remember that, like I said, the front of the actual brochure, you only see the front by itself. It stands alone. There's nothing else around it. Same thing with the back. The back, when folded up, if you turn it over, that's all you see is that back panel. Now, like I said, what's unique with this design is the way that it's presented as you open it up. So when we come to the opening of the brochure, you will see that panel 1 from the front and panel 1 from the inside, okay, they're both presented as you open up the actual brochure. That's why you have to give careful consideration when you design it on how it's going to look as you open it up. And of course, when you get down to open thing fully open, you're going to see all 3 panels at one time. So that's why I'm saying that you have to kind of think about it when you put this together on how it would look by itself closed, partially open, and completely open. That makes sense? Yeah? Okay. Now, you're probably asking, well, what did that project look like? Would you like to see that mock-up? Okay, let's go ahead and I'll show you what I've done. So here's the mock-up, and I've actually left all the markings from the template. I left them there so I can see how all this would fit. So that's why that's on there. So you can ignore all those numbers and, you know, this is the front and those lines and everything. But I wanted to show you that here's the design. And this I got off, like I said, I got this off their website. And they're using their own color scheme and everything, which is okay, which is great. And I incorporated it into this brochure. Now here's what the front looks like, and this is not a design class by any stretch of the imagination. But when we're talking about a brochure, it's trying to give information. And so the front of it is this is what I am. I'm about a school, or this could be I'm about a product or a service. That's what this front page is all for, or the front panel, I should say. The back panel is contact information. How do we get in contact with you, for your service, for your school, for your organization? That's what the back panel is all about. So you get the front for the advertising, the back for the information part. And as you can tell, they have all the information necessary. They have their address, phone number, fax, website. They have all the information that's needed, plus a little bit of more advertising on that back page to advertise this school. Okay? the tie-in between the front and the back is, of course, the colors that they use, the type that they use. It all plays in together on how this brochure will work and relate from panel to panel, because you want that to really to tie in together, okay? To have a similar look. So as we open up the brochure, you can see that here's that flap that's already folded over onto the page, and here's the first panel of the inside. And the neat thing about it is the color scheme and everything actually works. And we did make this brochure cost friendly because it doesn't have any bleed on it. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. This design has no bleed. And I did that on purpose to save them money. The unique thing about these two panels being next to each other is because it uses the same color and design elements, they look like that could be the total piece right there, okay? But there's more, because we have to fully open up to see the full 3 inside panels. So when you open it up, you see all 3 panels. And it's designed to work together. It gives them detailed information about what the school has to offer. And that's really where you want them to go to if you have a lot of information to present. You want, once you know that they're interested in it, because they went ahead and opened the brochure up all the way, here's where you give them the meat and potatoes, as they say, of what the school is all about, or what your service is, or what your product is. Here's where they get all the detailed information. Okay? That's why the cover and the back is basically a hook to try and get them to open the brochure if they're interested in it. And then you give them all the information and also a call to action. Okay? That's what this brochure is all about. So, when you're designing it, you just have to make sure when you put it together, just realize that some of the parts and pieces are normally by themselves. Some of them work in conjunction with other panels, and the whole inside is meant to be one large presentation. That's why the Trifold brochure is a very unique design for advertising. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. And in the next one, we will actually place in the graphics and some text to create your own mock-up. See you in the next video.